And welcome back, everybody. It is Lazy Shen back in the building once again. It's good to see you guys, and it is Monday, which means the middle little brother Sinclair's skills have been revealed. And this one is the ID, the little brother, the named little brother, based on Werner from the new story Intervallo. Take a look, and as you can see, even from the overview, it is one glut skill and 1, 2, 3 different ways to be in the Envy party. This is the King of Envy. Envy Resonance is the name of the game, as well as some stacking, similar to some of the Blood Fiends we've seen so far, as well as a mark type effect. Let's zoom in really quickly to take a look at the first skill, which is it you? Question mark, exclamation mark, 2-coin glut skill. And as with the other little brothers, is a bleed type ID. So we'll be seeing bleed. We'll be seeing target as X bleed gain coin power, which is going to be great for this ID in particular. I think this is also, I think the other little brothers and little sisters also get some kind of bonus for bleed on the target as well. Plus, this one gives himself aggro, which is really, really good for when you'll see his passive as well. So he gives himself aggro on his skill, which is going to be great for retaliation. He does heal SP on himself on use as well, so he's able to keep himself healthy, which is like insane. And then if he's at 45 SP, he will also gain clash power instead of healing himself. So overall, just like a super powerhouse, and if you let him get out of control, he will get out of control because he applies bleed on hit, gains coin power on bleed, and also heals himself his own SP. And if he gets away with it at max SP, he will just instead be a clashing god. Even with his S1, I could definitely see this S1 rolling super, super high, like out of nowhere. His S2, payback with interest, a 3-coin envy skill, also has the same text. Bleed will give coin power, as with his previous one as well, plus another aggro skill as well. Basically, all the skills share this same few lines of text, as you'll see. But this also gives, if this skill gains highest resonance, so usually going to be envy with this team comp. If you're going to run a little middle team with the other two current little brother and sister, as well as probably some other ones coming in the future, you could see a envy resonance going on for offense level. If this resonance is an absolute resonance, then you double the offense level gain from this above skill. So a really easy way to get some good offense level, just like out of nothing, thin air. I could see X value being like 2, and then like you basically, you know, if this skill resonance is like, 4, you gain 2 offense level or double that for an absolute resonance. And then bleed, and then on the X resonance, this also, that includes the skill do more damage. So you can see also in that video, also this does more damage based on the A resonance. Or sorry, based on resonance, I should say. Final third skill here, 3-coin envy skill again. Write them all down. This one deals every more damage for every Book of Vengeance on Sinclair, which we'll see in a second. But Book of Vengeance is kind of similar to a lot of the Blood Fiend stacks as well. It stacks up to 30 and has 3 different levels that you can play around with here. And yeah, man, so you get more damage based on how much Vengeance you stacked up. It's a late game scaling build. So the longer the fight goes on, the more value you're going to get out of a lot of these skills. Again, coin power based on bleed on target, and also offense level based on resonance. So this character is all about hitting resonance, as well as a bunch of other stuff. Inflicts bleed, and then deals more damage based on resonance as well as Book of Vengeance. Fourthly, but last skill is going to be the defense skill. Let me quickly just scoot the image over a little bit here. There we go. Warm up in the east, a 2-coin counter skill. And the combat start, this will change based on how much envy res you have. As we saw in the trailer, it did 3 different attacks at 4 allies, or the number of resonance was all 4 envy resonance, is what I assume is going to be X. They instead use the skill 2, and then at 6 or more, I guess, they will use instead the S3 instead of their counter. So it's a free way to get a cheat out an S3, which is going to be super powerful because it's already going to do like crazy damage, right? And being able to cheat it on demand. We've already seen other characters like Heathcliff, the Wild Hunt Heathcliff, that can on demand use his counter again to apply a Requiem skill 3 for free. We know how powerful that is already, and so being able to cheat out an S3 from your counter skill is super effective. Plus, also gains a shield based on your missing HP. So when you're low HP, you're not down for the count. You can actually use this when you're low HP to get even more value. And this other skills will give you aggro next turn. And so it's a good way to do aggro, and then even if you don't have an S3 to clash with, you can instead clash with Warm Up in the East and then get a free S3 on the output, plus a damage shield if you fail it. Plus, it bleeds itself as well. And so even if you don't get the other two skills, even if you're not using A-Res for Envy, you will still get some value out of the bleed. So super, super good. And then we're going to get to the Werner stuff. So if you played through the Intimal already, you know the Werner's mechanic. But the mechanic is this new mark, not the same as the other two middle little siblings who have the Vengeance mark from the Vengeance tattoo. Werner has the Vendetta mark. And he applies Vendetta mark. Sinclair does when he gets attacked or an ally gets attacked as well. So he will apply the Vendetta mark against enemies who attack him or his allies very simply. And if they're from the middle, they will get even more Vendetta marks. So actually taking hits as middle Don Quixote or middle, what's his name? Merceau will actually give even more Vendetta marks, and we'll see how they're consumed in just a little bit here as well. After attacking with the base skill, you consume the Vendetta marks. And so basically, you'll want to get hits or get hit or allow them to hit you even and take some damage in order to apply Vendetta mark so that Sinclair can eat them and then gain levels. Because when he uses the Vendetta marks up, he will gain stacks of Book of Vengeance equal to how much Vendetta mark he's consumed. So paying back the enemies in damage is going to allow him to power up exponentially. And we'll see that in a second as well. On the bench also, he has We've Got Your Back, which is a nice little encounter start passive. When all of this HP gains defense level up, and the allies from the middle, which some of the middle little siblings are quite squishy as well. So they will also get this bonus of offense level up as well. So even if he starts off on the bench, he still is going to be able to allow his allies to pack quite a punch if some of them are from the middle, and also gain survivability if they're just anybody else. Okay, the Book of Vengeance passive is one that stacks up to 30 and then deals more damage based on stacks, obviously, from his skill 3 and otherwise. And just in general, he also gains the following stacks, which is blunt damage up, max speed and power up, as well as blunt damage up again at certain stack intervals, probably like 10, 20, 30, or 10, 15, 20. Something to that effect. And then Vendetta mark is the one that stacks up to 10, and they get consumed by skills and passives, and you will take people who are Vendetta marked take more damage from middle enemies. So not only does the Vendetta mark increase the damage output their enemy is going to take, Book of Vengeance stacks will make him do more damage. So overall, it's like damage on damage on damage, similar to how you get hit by one of Ricardo's haymakers, and he just like one shots your whole team. But it's super, super good. And what else does it do? It also applies this thing called Sibling Vengeance Mark, which is a way for the other middle little siblings to benefit from their own Vengeance Mark passive. So you look at someone like Don Quixote, middle, or middle Merceau, they have a passive called Vengeance Tattoo, and that will make the enemy's mark with Vengeance Tattoo, Vengeance Mark. Sinclair has a way of allowing himself to give the enemy that has the most Vendetta mark also Vengeance Mark, so that the enemies who get hit by his middle siblings will also benefit heavily from hitting the same enemies. So then they can all dogpile the same guy. Ideally, the idea is to dogpile the same guy and get like your licks in while you can. And you can see right here, it counts as every single sibling's Vengeance Mark. So regardless of the like Vengeance Mark, Don Quixote, Vengeance Mark, Merceau, they will all be counted towards this one Vengeance Mark. And so it is kind of also separately from Vengeance Mark. So you can have Vengeance Mark and the sibling Vengeance Mark at the same time as well. Right? If more than a single unit has this highest stack, targets the one with the highest HP. Yes, fantastic. But yeah, super, super solid unit, actually. And I can see them really building up into this archetype. We probably won't see Ricardo for a while, based on, this information and stuff like that. But I have hope that Ricardo will show himself Sooner rather than later. You know what I mean? Sooner rather than later. But yeah, super super cool character, and overall, like, I think a good direction for the middle team to be like separated differently from the Blood Fiends, while still being a bleed ID. It has its own identity as a kind of a unique playstyle. Yeah, super cool. Let me know what you think, guys. Peace.